welcome to another video. Yeah, this week I've actually come back to a place I visited probably a couple of weeks ago now. It might be actually a couple of months, to be fair. How time does fly. Yeah, I did a review up here of the Tamron 150-600 G2 lens on my Canon 80D, and I'll put a link up to that video there if you want to go and watch that one. And to be honest, today we've just had so many grey days, and another one is shaping up to be another grey day today. And I just really needed to get out and get some fresh air, so I've come across to Langford Lowfields, a local reserve to me, and was hoping for a nice, quiet and peaceful, hour, 2 hours, just to see what I could see up here. Only to arrive in the car park and find that I think there's some rare bunting or something that has appeared in the reeds next to the car park, and yeah, it's absolutely minging with people. Obviously social distancing, no more than a group of 6. There's about 40 people there, shoulder to shoulder. But I mean, to be honest, this is something that I've never really understood. I mean, I'm a wildlife photographer and I also take pictures of birds, but for me, the experience of wildlife photography is actually the solitude and the experience. Standing in a group of 40 people looking at some reeds for 4 or 5 hours it doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. So I sort of skipped the car park as quickly as I could and come down onto the reserve. Now there's a couple of reasons I chose to come here today. One, if you look on the birding sites, there's the normal marsh harrier sightings here, and I say normal because I think they are resident here, and but to be fair, I think generally since a couple of years ago when they changed the water levels into this public area of this RSPB site, I think the marsh harrier has more been on one of the other phases that isn't open to the public, so it's not really very easy to get a look at those. Apparently they do come over here, but I've not seen them for a while. And also they've had a short-eared owl doing the rounds over here, which is one of the birds that I really want to get some images of this year. And I don't even expect to get any images, but definitely I'd be really lucky if I actually saw it, I think, today. It's just one of those things that I don't think it's going to happen. The light again is pretty poor today. The other thing that's happening up at Langford Lowfields intermittently is a starling murmuration, so I may hang on for that towards the end of the afternoon just to see if that does materialise. But more than that, I'm just here for a quick walk round, see what I see, take images of what I see, if anything, and yeah, and then if anything comes along, I'll take some images of it. But yeah, no real plan today. It just does give me a chance again. I'm out with the Sony A6400 with this Tamron 150-600, so it's a little bit more practice using that again, that big lens on that tiny weeny camera. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll catch up with you later, and yeah, we'll go for a walk and see what we see. Right, hello again everybody. I've been at the reserve a while now, and I've seen one or two things, nothing extraordinary. That I've hopefully got an image, although deep in the reeds of, I think it's a great white egret, fishing on the far side of the reserve. It's nothing to write home about, it just wouldn't come out in the open, and I was shooting right from upon the path, which wasn't ideal either. Yeah, to be honest, one of the things I don't like about this reserve is all the paths around it are raised, and a lot of when I do most of my wildlife photography, I like to be on the same level as the animals, so I don't want to be shooting up at things or shooting down on things. I want to be shooting directly across, and it's quite difficult to do that on this reserve. So now the observant of you may notice, and this is the big news for today, that after singing its praises, I'm having trouble with the Sony A6400 again with this Tamron 150-600 G2 and the Sigma MC11 converter. It's really frustrating. I can link it all together, switch it on, and I've got it set up for continuous shooting and continuous autofocus, and it's working fine. I can walk for a couple of minutes with the camera switched on, ready to go. I'll see something, lift it up, and it's as if it's lost contact with the lens. there's no focus, there's nothing happening, and it's a case of sometimes switching the camera on and off works, and then all of a sudden it's focusing again. It's as if it's regained the connection, and sometimes it's a case of unhooking the lens altogether. Now, when I was shooting in the hide, you know, that's not a particular problem because you can keep your eye on it and, you know, generally looking at it all the time. But as a walk round lens, it's just really frustrating, and it's not something that I can, at the minute, reliably use and say, yeah, that's fantastic, I'm gonna, you know, take that out as a walk around lens. Because the problem is, you know, for that type of photography, if I've got a fox, you know, it could be anything. It could be an otter, it could be one of that once in a lifetime shot. I need the camera and lens to be reliable. I need it to focus straight away. I need, you know, if I'm doing everything that I can to get that shot, if I'm learning all my field craft and everything, I just really need the lens and camera to perform at that same level. You know, it's not really on to do all my side and then for the equipment to let me down. So at the minute, there's no way that I can use it as a walk round lens. In the hide I'd use it, not a problem, but for this, no. I think because in a hide, obviously what you're doing, you're bringing the thing to you, so you've generally got more time. Whereas when you're out stalking wildlife, it can be a couple of seconds and it's over with. So this has to perform bang straight on, and it's noticeable when I put the Canon back on, because this is a Canon mount Tamron lens. There's no converter, and it just does what it needs to do. So that's a little update for you on that. I've got a reasonable picture of a kestrel, I think, sat on one of its little posts. I was hoping, this is the reserve behind me, as you can see it's mainly water and reed bed, and I was really hoping I might see this short-eared owl today. But for me, the fields out of the reserve, where the sheep are now, that looks real short-eared owl territory to me. If there were no sheep in there, I'd be saying, yeah, it'd be hunting across there, no trouble. But no joy at the minute, and it's starting to get really dull. So I think I'm going to make my way probably back up to the far end of the reserve for a little bit, just to see what comes along, have 5 minutes, rest and stay in one place to see if anything turns up, and then I'll make my way back. Who knows, we might get this murmuration of starlings tonight, we might not. But yeah, it's been a reasonable walk out, and what I didn't want to do was get a short-eared owl hunting over here, and then, you know, it's coming straight towards me, a cracking shot, beautiful background, nice light, and I can't get the camera to focus. So as soon as that started up again, I gave it 5 minutes trying to get it to work, and yeah, as I say, it's a case of switching on and off or unhooking the lens, and then it works. So I'm going to have a shufty round on the internet, see if it's a known problem, see if there's anything I can do, see if it's anything to do with the firmware for this MC11 or something. I don't think it is, or for the lens, just don't know. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, and obviously if you've only got one camera, it's incredibly disappointing, because it's just not reliable to use it. I would be really fed up if I'd taken this out and something extraordinary had happened and I'd missed it. So yeah, back to the Canon, and we'll see how we go. Actually seen a road here down on the banking of the reserve, and I think at the minute I am downwind of it, so I'm not sure whether it's going to come this way, but I'm just going to see if I can get down here and just see if we can get any shots. Yeah, it is nice to see these roe deer. I have seen roe deer up here before, and these are quite a way away unfortunately, but yeah, just very nice to see. I'm losing the light really badly now, and obviously for filming I only need 30 frames a second, so it makes it, does extend your day a little bit more if you can get something like this. So yeah, nice to see, and I think I'm going to head back now, leave these two to eat in the grass, and head back and see if we get a murmuration. Yeah, we've also got what I think is a little egret down there as well, so I'm just doing a little bit of film of that. The deer aren't actually moving anywhere. It'd be nice if they did come this way actually across the bank, because as I say, I think I am downwind. And there goes the egret. But yeah, I don't think they're going to come this way tonight, so I'm going to head back. Right, hello everybody, I hope you can still see me. It's getting a little bit dark here now. There's loads of people waiting for this starling murmuration, but I'm not sure it's going to happen now. It's getting pretty dark. I was just making my way back along this new path, this seasonal path, and I actually met a couple of guys, and one guy was shooting Nikon, and he was asking me you know, why all his images were dark. He'd swapped some of his settings, so I helped him out with that. And the guy who was with him said the short-eared owl was on the post over there. Now, believe it or not, about a quarter of a mile away, if you saw the beginning of the video, that path I was walking, the fence between the reserve, the flood bank and that scrubby field, there was a short-eared owl sat on the post. Now, I've been walking up and down there for 2 hours, never seen it. As soon as it starts to get really dull, short-eared owl turns up. So I suppose what I would say is, you know, never give up until the last minute. So what I did, I went back out of the reserve, down the edge of the flood bank. Now, to ensure that the short-eared owl didn't see me, I sort of didn't walk on the flood bank. I walked down the right-hand side of it where all the hawthorn trees are. Managed to get reasonably close. These are some cropped images I've taken. Believe it or not, I took these at some of them were 800 ISO. I started off at 6,400 ISO, hand holding. Managed to get it on my big tripod, and in the end the owl was so still that I was able to shoot. I think I got down to 400 ISO, and I mean, I'll put the shutter speed up with some of the shots. I'll show one of the shots, the best one that I've got, and you'll be able to see it stood on it sat on a fence post, so it's not moving around very much. It's just turning its head every now and again towards me. So I was able to even put it on the self timer to get my hands completely off the lens, and hopefully, you know, with the owl being still, even though it's nearly dark, I managed to get a reasonable shot. I hope I have anyway. Now, roll the finishing credits. Obviously, I say the important bit is about the Sony lens. This image with the owl was taken on the Canon 80D with the Tamron 150-600 G2. I'll put the settings up with the image. See you next week.